Hello everyone. It's great to see you again in today's video. Tu Tien sat quietly at the wooden table in the middle of the cozy little kitchen, her deft hands quickly picking each purple onion in the stainless steel basket placed in front of her. The early morning light gently shone through the glass window, illuminating her attentive face, highlighting her familiar gentleness and meticulousness. The faint scent of peeled onions wafted out, mixed with the warmth from the shiny red wooden kitchen, creating a familiar and peaceful atmosphere. Today, Tu Tien wanted to prepare a pot of hot sticky rice for breakfast, so she carefully picked each onion to fry until fragrant. Each movement was gentle and slow, as if she was sending all her love and care to her family. After peeling the onions, Tu Tien stood up and brought the prepared bowl of shallots to the kitchen. She gently turned on the stove, placed the pan on it and poured in a thin layer of oil. As soon as the oil was hot, Tu Tien immediately dropped in handfuls of shallots, making a light, crispy, sizzling sound. In just a moment, the fragrant smell of fried shallots began to spread throughout the kitchen, then throughout the house, bringing with it the warm and familiar feeling of a full and complete morning. That aroma seemed to foretell that the sticky rice she prepared for breakfast today would be extremely attractive, sticky, hot and flavorful thanks to the golden, crispy fried shallot layer made by her own hands. Just as Tu Tien had turned off the stove to make the fried onions golden brown, Jack also came home from jogging. The fragrant smell of fried onions rushed out to greet him, warm and seductive to the point that it made him smile. Entering the kitchen, Jack immediately asked Tu Tien what dish she was cooking that smelled so good. She smiled and replied that she was cooking sticky rice for our breakfast this morning. Jack happily took Tu Tien's hand and said she was truly a woman of his family. He was so lucky to have met her. Tu Tien smiled and said that this was nothing compared to what Jack had done for her. Then she told Jack to go wash his face, change his clothes and come out to have breakfast together. Jack happily stood up to go to the bathroom. Tu Tien was in the kitchen, meticulously preparing for breakfast. She scooped out sticky rice onto 2 small plates. The golden sticky rice mixed with the scent of new sticky rice steamed, making the entire kitchen feel warmer. Immediately after, Tu Tien picked up the box of fried onions that she had just made, skillfully sprinkling each spoonful on top of the sticky rice. The crispy golden onion flakes were spread evenly, mixed with a layer of shimmering scallion oil, making the sticky rice dish extremely eye-catching. The aroma of fried onions lingering in the air made the dish look even more attractive. Just looking at it was enough to make people want to enjoy it immediately. In that peaceful moment, Tu Tien still attentively completed each plate of sticky rice, preparing a delicious breakfast for Jack as a gentle way to start a new day full of love. Jack finished changing and walked to the dining table, just in time for Tu Tien to place 2 plates of hot sticky rice on the shiny wooden table. He sat down at the table and the fragrant smell of fried onions immediately made Jack unable to hide his delight. Right from the first bite, Jack laughed lightly, his eyes full of praise. "Really delicious. The sticky rice you cook is always great." His sincere compliment made Tu Tien smile happily. The two of them ate and chatted, their laughter mixed with the soft morning light, making the small kitchen unusually warm. That happy atmosphere seemed to spread throughout the room. A simple breakfast but full of love, enough to start a new day with peace and connection between the two. After eating, Jack went downstairs to wait for Tu Tien to change clothes. Today, he would take her to his company to see what his daily work would be like. After changing clothes, Tu Tien and Jack prepared to go to the company. She was very happy and excited because this was the first time she got to see Jack work since Jack founded the company. They happily left the house together to go to Jack's company. When the car stopped in front of the company gate, Jack got out first and gently opened the door for Tu Tien. The two of them walked in without knowing that behind them was a man in a black coat and a masked face, watching them closely. When he saw Jack and Tu Tien had entered the company, he immediately went to the small shop across the street to wait. His silence and excessive concentration made the surrounding atmosphere cold and full of calculation. Jack and Tu Tien entered the company, greeted a few employees, and went straight to his office. The room was spacious and tidy with a large desk, neatly arranged document shelves, and open designs. Tu Tien gently observed everything around her. She noticed every small detail. The files sorted by color, the computer screen always lit with a series of projects Jack was working on, and the wall painting that bore his own style. That space was full of Jack's neatness, professionalism, and inspiration. She sat down on the chair beside him, quietly leaning over to watch him work. Jack's hands moved quickly on the keyboard, occasionally making notes on the documents. His face focused but still exuded a calm and trustworthy look. Seeing Jack busy but still very stylish, Tu Tien couldn't help but feel admiration. A warm pride rose in her heart that beside her was a capable, dedicated, and responsible man. Tu Tien stood up, walked lightly to Jack's side. She bent down slightly to get a better look at the blueprints and figures he was looking at. Jack noticed her presence, looked up, and both of them unconsciously smiled at each other. A small but warm smile, as if just looking at each other made them feel happy in their hearts. Jack gently put down his pen, turned completely to Tu Tien. His warm hand slowly lifted up, placed lightly on her belly. The action was extremely gentle, as if he was touching a fragile but precious miracle. "Is the baby bothering you?" Jack asked in a deep voice, full of concern. Tu Tien smiled, placed her hand on his, and shook her head slightly. "No, the baby is very good today." The two of them listened to the heartbeat of a small creature growing day by day in Tu Tien's belly. Joy and hope filled their eyes, as if the future ahead was opening up the most beautiful things. Tu Tien stayed by Jack's side for a while longer, quietly observing his every focused movement. Looking at the way Jack handled documents, replied to emails, and took notes continuously, she felt even more clearly the great responsibility he was shouldering. Not wanting to distract him, Tu Tien gently said, "Let me sit outside for a while, so you can work more easily and concentrate." Tu Tien walked out of the office with a gentle and loving look. Tu Tien went outside. She politely greeted the employees of Jack's company. Then she went to the water table to wait for Jack because she didn't want to affect everyone's work. After sitting for a while, Jack also came out and he invited her to go into the farm with him. The two happily walked into the farm together. Jack and Tu Tien left the company and got in the car to go to the farm. Jack opened the car door for Tu Tien. She gently stepped into the car and slowly rolled out of the parking lot. But they had no idea that on the other side of the road, the masked man was still sitting at the coffee shop, his sharp eyes not leaving them for even a second. When he saw the car of the two people start moving, he immediately stood up, leaving behind the unfinished glass of water. He always kept a sufficient distance and followed Jack and Tu Tien's car. His eyes were filled with calculation, as if waiting for some opportunity. The road leading to the farm was originally peaceful and had few people passing by. But today, behind them, there was a dark shadow quietly creeping along, carrying a gloomy and dangerous feeling. The two people in the car were still happily chatting, completely unaware that the threat was gradually getting closer. When Jack's car stopped at the turnoff leading to the farm, he turned off the engine and got out first to help Tu Tien get out of the car. The two held hands and slowly walked inside, talking as they walked, completely relaxed. But in the distance, the man in black had also just parked his car. He was furtive, his eyes full of calculation. When he saw that Jack and Tu Tien had gone deeper into the farm, he slowly approached their car. He bent low, tiptoed around the car, examined it, and after making sure that no one was paying attention, he quietly left that position and began walking along the path that Jack and Tu Tien had taken. Each of his steps was light as if he was afraid of being discovered, but his eyes were full of schemes. While Jack and Tu Tien were still carefree enjoying their walk, that dark figure quietly moved deeper with them, like a danger that was gradually tightening that they had not yet realized. Inside the farm, Jack and Tu Tien rolled up their sleeves to clean the outdoor kitchen that they would often use to cook every time they visited. Jack pulled out the water hose and sprayed it hard on the dusty brick floor, while Tu Tien used a broom and a towel to scrub the stains. The sound of running water and the brush scrubbing the brick floor mixed with the two people's laughter made the kitchen corner become strangely lively and warm. Tu Tien sometimes looked up at Jack, smiling at his diligence and meticulousness, while Jack occasionally teased her a few sentences, making Tu Tien giggle. The atmosphere between them was gentle and happy, as if the whole world only had the two of them together building a peaceful life. After cleaning the kitchen floor and letting it dry in the sun, Jack and Tu Tien moved on to the next task, planting rows of ornamental plants around the new house that was gradually taking shape. All the pretty pots of plants, from small flowers, shrubs, to some large spreading trees, had been bought by Jack. Jack held a shovel and dug small holes along the path. Every time he finished digging a hole, Tu Tien would step forward and gently lift each pot of plant and place it in the right position. The two of them sometimes switched shoulders, sometimes bent down to align the rows of plants so that they were even and beautiful. The laughter echoed in the airy space of the farm, mixed with the smell of new soil and cool wind, making the scene extremely peaceful. Jack did not forget to occasionally look at Tu Tien, reminding her to stand up and rest if she felt tired. While Tu Tien worked attentively, her hands always gentle as if she was cherishing each new life. Each tree, each branch was planted in the ground like the first bricks to build their future. But they didn't know that, outside the farm fence, there was still a cold gaze watching their every move. The man in black stood hidden behind the bushes, not taking his eyes off Jack and Tu Tien. That silence was like a long, dark shadow, breaking the tranquility of the seemingly perfect moment. His eyes were cold and calculating, following every small action of Jack and Tu Tien. When he saw what he needed, he took a few steps back, his eyes still not leaving the two. He turned around cautiously, taking each step carefully so as not to make any noise. He quickly slipped into the shade, quietly leaving the farm just as he came without leaving any trace. After planting the trees, the two of them went to the tap together to wash their hands and feet. The sun had cooled down. The wind from the fields blew in, making the air in the farm cool and pleasant. Jack washed his hands and glanced at Tu Tien, a smile still on his lips because of the joy of working with her. Meanwhile, Jack and Tu Tien were still immersed in simple joy, completely unaware that a few minutes ago a dangerous shadow had quietly appeared around them, observing them and now had disappeared with a purpose no one could have foreseen. After washing his hands and feet, Jack wanted to take Tu Tien home. But Tu Tien looked around and saw that there were still a few tools that had not been put away and a few small pieces of trash left. She shook her head and smiled. "You go first, I'll just clean up a little more. When I'm done, I'll call you to pick me up." Jack wanted to refuse, but seeing Tu Tien's determined eyes and familiar thoughtfulness, he nodded. Then he told her to remember to call him when she got to work right away. "Don't do anything heavy by yourself." Tu Tien smiled slightly and told Jack to go home with peace of mind. Jack looked at her for a long time before turning and walking out the farm gate. Tu Tien stood by the porch, her hands clasped together, watching Jack's figure as he slowly walked away. Only when Jack was completely out of sight did Tu Tien turn back inside and continue cleaning.